So welcome to this special edition of This Is True, Really. I am your new moderator, Scott's oldest son, Ian Combs, no relation. And we're here to talk about how Titter became the Titter you all are getting to know and starting to enjoy.
Mostly loathe.
Well, that too.
To know and loathe.
Sure.
Sorry.
So I got to start you guys at the beginning. With a
very
question,
good place to start,
and a bit of a quiz question. Actually, this is a little Titter bar trivia. Which Beatle do you share a birthday with?
Wait, hang on. There is such a thing as Beatle bar trivia. Did you know that? Are you holding out on me?
No, not specifically Beatle bar. Well, it's
Titter bar.
It's music trivia.
I'm all confused. Paul McCartney.
Okay, now Scott, which Beatle do you share a birthday with?
That would be Sir Paul McCartney. No relation.
I had him in the good days. Now he's a snob. Which is kind of the difference between Scott and I. Well, that name. I still have.
That's really not that much of a difference at this point.
I have some. He's just. He can shine. I have to trim.
Yeah, he committed. You're just involved.
Exactly right.
So then this begs the question: what year were y'all born?
That would be the year of our Lord, 1958.
So you two jerks were born on the same exact day.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same country.
The snobbish one was born at Fort Riley, Kansas.
Boy, wasn't he though? Whereas I was born to a working man and woman in St. Cloud, Minnesota, where the men are men and the women are too, because it's cold up here and you got to be tough.
Yeah.
And now the idiot from Kansas lives where?
Blaine.
Minnesota.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He's an idiot after all.
Came the long way around because remember, when I was little, we moved to Germany for a number of years. Well, that was
want the life story.
Then the East Coast. And
hang on, let's drive around Edina and look at your old houses.
I think I've done that to both of you.
Oh God, I needed that.
Oh mercy. Okay.
So I'm the reason I ask is because there seems to be more than just a slight instance of simpatico between you two that seems to emanate from this fact.
Wait, you're saying that he and I think alike and act alike, and sometimes we even talk alike?
What are we, Patty Duke?
Apparently.
This is news to you?
I think I'm chagrined.
Am I Kathy or Patty?
You're Kathy. I'm Patty.
Of course you are. In any case, Kathy was the one that liked to rock and roll.
No, Patty was the one that liked to rock and roll. Kathy was from England.
Oh, so
you're the snob. Are you missing the whole connection here?
I just forget. It's been a million years ago, and I don't care.
What were dinosaurs like in real life, you two old
fogies? They were kind of fun. You just fed them some veggies, and
they moved a lot like birds.
I learned something today. And
I was faster than them.
And I was
at least faster than your slowest buddy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So you guys were born on the same day, a couple of different places.
Yeah.
How did you two actually finally meet?
I believe it was Armageddon.
No, it was the Personals ads in the Twin Cities Reader.
Let's go with Armageddon.
Same thing.
We got hired at the same radio station by my mentor. And
his name was
Mike Dime.
Oh yeah, him.
And this
he might actually listen, so be careful.
That's it. I love Mike.
He's old and has the Radio Mafia on his side.
He's way the heck out on the East Coast.
This was back in what, 81? No, 79.
It was the year Cara was born.
It was. No, Cara was born after she was already there. Boy, now it's confusing.
Well, Cara's only a year older than me.
Yeah.
So
carry the 2.
It couldn't have been any
Okay, so
later
Drew was
than
born
early
when we were at
83.
KSTP.
89,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So it had no. This is also confusing.
Does the year really matter? It was
It does.
nearly
Now it's-
40 years ago.
What?
I strive for journalistic accuracy.
Somewhere
You
around
do
80.
not.
Go with that. Somewhere around 80 or so.
Somewhere in the early 80s,
Yeah.
possibly before my birth.
Maybe sometime after. No, I think you were still on the way because I think we had already lived in the house in Monticello when you showed up
I think that's true. I think
Yeah.
that's true. That makes sense.
because your lovely mom was very round. And, for the scrawny thing she is, that was most enlightened to fat people like me.
I was going to say smuggling a watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm just reading what he wrote, Ann. It's just what I'm doing. I would never say anything like that without having it on Scott's cue card.
and he writes cue card. He can't write.
He prints badly.
Dictate.
This is true.
Speech
Phonetically.
to text.
Oh, duh. Speech to text is dangerous in this day and age. We're just leaving it.
Yep.
We're just,
Yep.
we're just leaving
Let
it.
Yep.
So, having met at was this KMOM then? Would that
Yep.
have been KMOM?
Yep.
The first stint it came on, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Well, great interview, guys. See you later.
See ya, bye.
Yeah.
He knows a punchline when he sees it.
Having started to work together, when did you guys, or being at the same station, when did you guys actually start working together? How did that part of the relationship
Oh,
kind of
Well,
form?
because we signed it on. The station, we signed it on.
yeah.
And I was supposed to do mornings and he was supposed to do afternoons. And I don't know what happened. But, you're hanging around the week or so before trying to make sure everything's done and ready to go. So you've got all the air talent there. And we clicked pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not the air bunnies. Don't do the air bunnies.
Talent.
That you can do. You can do air bunnies around that.
Yeah.
But it was weird because it was just sentences were being finished and thoughts were being thought at the same time. And it was very eerie and I didn't have garlic. So I did.
Well, and it didn't take long before a thought occurred to me that we should do.
One of 4 that he's ever had.
Yeah.
I was number 2.
We
You think?
out of your mouth, not mine.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. The
We get bogged down quickly here.
I got the idea that that it would be fun to do a radio superheroes dramedy.
It was radio theater, which hadn't been done in a long time.
Yeah.
And there were some of the talk stations. Actually, there were no talk stations. It was MOR back then.
Yeah.
There were several syndicated shows out there that did the old radio dramas. So your dad thought it would be thought it would be very funny to do our own superhero thing.
It was called Tone Fob and Scott Lark Radio Superheroes.
And it was the dumbest, it was the dumbest thing in the history of man.
You know what?
It was great fun to do. And apparently that translated well because people actually waited for it.
A guy would stop class at Monticello High School just to listen to it.
Bob Garman. Yeah. Gene, sorry.
And we got hired to do commercials as Tone Fob and Scott Lark for Gary's Pizza.
We did. Go ahead, think of that let that sink in for a second.
Now here's the sad part for Gary's Pizza is that they couldn't afford the 1953 International dump truck.
Well, actually, they could, but it was radio, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, we could have said it was anything.
Yeah, Batman had his Batmobile. Wonder Woman had the invisible plane. We had a dump truck.
Well, so
A 1953 International dump truck.
Because we were not going cheap.
No, you got it. International. What is it? International Farm and Harvester.
International Harvester. We were styling.
the whole point of the scripts was to be as dry as we possibly could while putting the characters in the dumbest circumstances possible.
Which worked for about 8 seconds every episode.
Yep, and the end of every episode was them falling.
somewhere.
Out a window, down an elevator shaft.
Yep. In the truck, out of the truck, didn't matter. Those were the days.
And Tony, you don't know this, but
Surprised what I don't know.
No, it wasn't too long ago that I ran across the original handwritten scripts. I still have them. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Give you $1 to burn them.
All I remember is Larkham going, the humor is so dry. Going, well, thanks. We achieved it.
So, see, and it struck in my head, it struck me a lot as the Three Stooges.
It was
nuts.
It was just, and we would always do the dressing scene, which always had to go, hey, are those my tights or yours? Hand me a booty, those kind of things.
Where's my cod piece?
Is that the
I don't know if we could have gotten away with it at that time.
I'm glad you weren't there to give them the ideas. Thanks.
It was but we used to do our and I think what really launched that, now that you've touched a nerve on that, we were required to do promos at the end of every show or before every show or whatever that could run in the other guys' shows.
Yep.
So I was in there doing my promo, and this little itch keeps kicking the door in and going, on the way out. I had a series of promos where all he did was interrupt me.
Yep.
And so I started to write promos as if I was in a tree outside hiding from Tony, and he would still find me. And that was the beginning of Tone Fob and Scott Lark.
Yep. And then when there was the ugly snowstorm.
Oh,
where we were young and stupid.
Boy, were we.
So we thought we had to get to work. It was much easier for me. I had like 8 miles to go. He came in from wherever he was in the Sahara.
We were in Blaine.
Still
Blaine. And we got stuck there overnight. So we did like a show. We do what we did together, right? Instead of separate shows, we just
got on the air together.
It was nuts. Somehow our it was nuts.
That was a heck of a snowstorm, but the station put us up over at the motel. So we got some sleep that night because Dave made it in. Yep. Thank goodness.
The Silver Fox, was it?
Oh, it might have been the Silver Fox. Yeah.
Across from McDonald's.
Yeah, which was handy. So we had dinner. That worked
only
out
the finest.
And that was where you started. That's where in my head, it was like, oh boy, we could be in jail soon, or we could be fun together,
or unemployed.
These are your only 2 options in radio. You can either have a great job or not be working at all. So
it says something about the kind of people who take the job, where they're kind of, as long as they're working somewhere in the field, they're generally pretty happy, as long as it's not abjectly miserable.
I mean, you can gripe about whatever you want to gripe about, but it's still, it's better than working for a living. Yeah,
and at that time, radio was pretty creative. You could, and Dime was really nice. We did we did the first episode without even telling him we were doing it, and he heard it, and he said, "As long as this doesn't devolve into screaming, I think I'm okay."
And it did at some points, but by then he was powerless.
Yes,
music of Tone Fob and Scott Lark. Radio superheroes.
Oh my goodness.